Next on Worcester News tonight, the latest on the damage caused by Tuesday's massive water main break in the city. Plus, battling the heat and humidity, a ride along with paramedics shows the dangers of today's hot weather. Good evening and thanks for joining us. I'm Olivia Lemon. Repair work continues today on a broken water main in Worcester. The break happened Tuesday afternoon and left many residents without water and some stuck in a scary situation. Tonight we are hearing from a man whose truck ended up in a sinkhole. Our ROSLYN FLAHERTY joins us now with more. ROSLYN?
Olivia, that man didn't realize how deep the sinkhole was until he found himself in it.
Just started filling up.
Vincent McHugh describes the moments after he drove his truck into a sinkhole on Frontage Road in Worcester.
I thought it was just a puddle, so I gassed it to go through it.
The sinkhole, caused by a 24-inch water main break, flooded the area. McHugh says he went around the barriers, but says no one told him to stop.
It looked flat.
Worcester Police Chief SARGENT was in the area when he saw McHugh's truck in the water.
We were talking to the guy. He wanted to just jump in. The guy next to us from the city said, it could be pretty deep.
Concerned for McHugh's safety, Chief Sargent and others, including Lieutenant Fallon, went into action.
We just put a little human chain together, grabbed him, pulled him in, and just brought him over to safety.
The chief doesn't want to be called a hero. He says his officers help people in difficult situations every day. He was just at the right place at the right time.
Get you pumped up again. It's like the old days. I used to love, love being a police officer. That's what I love. I enjoy it.
Now, fortunately, McHugh was not injured. The chief recommends if there are barriers up to not go through them. ROSLYN FLAHERTY, Worcester News Tonight.
And water service is restored, but work on the main and roadways could last for several more days. The break caused the loss of 5 to 7 million gallons of water. It is still unclear what caused it to break. The director of water and sewer operations says water is fully restored and is safe to drink. He also says chlorine levels have been increased.
Right now it's taking this water main and fixing it. And that's going to be a long task. It's a big water main. It's obviously a big hole in the ground there we're dealing with. So it's going to take certainly all of today, maybe even into tomorrow before we're complete with that.
And the city says drivers should avoid the area of the break. Some roads could be closed into early next week while the work is being completed. 2 more Webster buildings have fallen victim to damage caused by Saturday's tornado. Residents at 41 Main Street were given 1 hour Tuesday to get items from inside. The town says the building is deemed uninhabitable. A former mini mart on Main Street is also uninhabitable. Town officials say the buildings will most likely be knocked down. Two buildings were so badly damaged by the storm they were demolished that day. The lawyer for the man charged with the death of State Trooper Thomas Clardy claims blood samples were improperly handled as evidence. According to the Worcester County District Attorney's Office, David Niguna's lawyer has filed a motion to suppress blood evidence. Prosecutors say Niguna's blood showed he had marijuana in his system when the car he was driving hit Trooper Clardy's cruiser in 2016. A hearing on the motion is scheduled for September 28th. A Worcester man is arrested Tuesday. Police say he stabbed 2 people. Police say 35-year-old David Burgos stabbed 1 man in the upper chest area, but his injuries were superficial. A second victim was brought to the hospital. Police say he was stabbed in the neck. Burgos is facing multiple charges, including 2 counts of armed assault to murder and 2 counts of assault and battery with a dangerous weapon. Hot temperatures the past few days are keeping area paramedics busy. While they are trying to help take care of others, they also have to focus on staying hydrated themselves. Our Brittany SCHAEFER rode along with the paramedics today and joins us now with more. Brittany?
Olivia, we responded to back-to-back calls of people suffering from heat-related medical emergencies. Worcester EMS says there's been a big increase in these types of calls this week. The high temperatures are creating a string of busy days for Worcester Emergency Medical Services. Paramedic Ronald GIGLIOTTI says about 70% of calls he's responded to this week involve the heat.
They may not be primarily heat related, but there's always a dovetail effect. Heat, like I said, will exacerbate other conditions, diabetes, heart disease, lung disease.
In 30 minutes, Gigliotti responded to 2 different heat-related calls. On Franconia Street, a 60-year-old male collapsed while mowing his lawn.
Probably sitting in the sun, and what ensues, weakness and eventually shortness of breath and passing out, all related to heat. His oxygen levels were low, his heart rate was high, his skin temperature was burning hot, and sustained exercise, sustained activity. People don't account for the amount of fluid that they have to replace that with.
Another call, a man in his 30s with vomiting, a headache, and vertigo. The hot weather didn't make his symptoms any better.
All the windows are closed. It's 95 degrees out today, no air movement. So the diaphoresis, the sweating, that's exacerbating his underlying headache, his nausea and dizziness. When you start, he was losing a lot of fluid just in sweat.
UMass Memorial EMS Deputy Chief Michael Hunter says staying hydrated is most important, and it goes for the first responders working in the heat as well. He wants to make sure everyone is taking care of themselves.
It's a physical job, so we're affected by the heat. If it's hot outside and you're in a car accident, we're out in the heat trying to get you out of the vehicle, trying to get you to the hospital. What we do is provide water for our own people. We'll put water bottles in some of our command vehicles.
I haven't met one crew today that was not uncomfortable from the heat. They were all just sweaty and nasty and feeling gross. But a lot of the captains will drive around with coolers full of ice water. They'll show up on a call, make sure you're hydrating well.
Again, paramedics say to avoid a medical emergency, to stay hydrated, and to take breaks from being outside. Brittany SCHAEFER, Worcester News Tonight.
And the high temperatures can not only be dangerous for people, but pets as well. The Worcester Animal Rescue League says there are the obvious tips to keep pets safe, like not leaving them in the car unattended and giving them water. Allie Tellier says beyond that, owners should be aware of their pet's surroundings.
The hot pavement, or even if you do give them water, that water can heat up really quickly. So you want to make sure it's fresh. Keeping them in the shade is really important. And if you can avoid it, avoid going outside altogether. Stay inside where the fan is or the AC is, and they'll enjoy it.
And Tellier says animals react to the heat a lot like people do, so if they are not up for a walk or are not eating as much, try not to force them. An Oxford kennel is ordered to stop importing dogs and selling dog supplies. Acting Town Manager Dennis Powers says Laughlin Kennel has 90 days to comply with a court order. It requires the business to stop importing animals from other breeders and to stop selling pet supplies. The kennel is still allowed to breed and raise dogs it permanently owns at the property. Powers says the building is in a residential area, not commercial space. A Southbridge man is recovering tonight. He says a young boy hit him over the head with a baseball bat after he tried to stop the boy from vandalizing a building. Our Gretchen LaRosa has the details.
He could have killed me right in front of my daughter.
Gary Entel has a dozen stitches in his head after being hit with a baseball bat by a 12-year-old boy. Southbridge police confirm the boy is being charged with assault and battery with a dangerous weapon. Entel, a longtime Southbridge resident, says he witnessed the boy vandalizing a church Sunday night and he had to get involved.
I see stuff like that, or vandalism to cars, I'm calling the cops.
Police say there were 2 kids spray painting the wall of a church. When Entel approached the juvenile, they exchanged words.
And then he come up the stairs, and he was on the top step, and he said, hey, I turned around, and that's when he swung it and caught me in the head.
Southbridge Police Chief Shane Woodson says charging the boy with a felony is the maximum force of action police could take in this particular instance. He says while the juvenile was not immediately taken into custody, he has to answer to charges in court next week. Gary Entel's wife is happy to see him alive.
Truthfully, I didn't think he was going to make it. I hate to say it, but you hear about these stories how people get hit over the head with a baseball bat and they end up bleeding brain and dying, and I really didn't think he was going to make it.
Now, in addition to those dozen stitches, Gary Entel said he suffered a severe concussion. As for the suspect, he is due back in court by the end of next week. Gretchen LaRosa, Worcester News Tonight.